this afternoon. He is very interesting, and his trainer Ian Williams is with Lydia.
And Ian Williams was just telling me about how he managed to have these natty colours of first assignment. Tell everybody what that is.
That's a hanky.
Yeah. And the other bit?
That's a serviette.
So you fashioned that when?
I fashioned the serviette from one of the hospitality boxes, so it's very nice, yes.
It's splendid, absolutely splendid. Now, how long have you been targeting this race with this horse?
How long we've been targeting? I think he performed very well here in the spring, in the autumn, and his run at Haydock was very good. But we weren't qualified for a Pertemps, so he took up the option in February at Warwick. Ran very well that day, probably wasn't enough of a test of stamina for him. This is a tough race off his weight, but you know the horse has done nothing but please us all season, so let's hope he can do his best today, and his best will be good enough.
How are you feeling about the ground?
I'm glad we've changed courses today. This is a slightly stiffer track to the other track, and the ground is obviously better. A little bit of rain today. I don't think there can be too many complaints about the ground from anybody. It's good to soft ground, and hopefully they'll all enjoy it, come back safe, and we'll have a great race.
Absolutely. I wish you and your serviette well. We'll head out to steer it on the course.
Thank you.
Well, we've made our way out onto the track, fairly close actually, a 3-mile start for this Pertemps final. The runners are just away to my right, making their way off onto the artificial canter dam before they'll start to assemble over here in essence. We're standing on the chase course at the moment on the outside of it. If we just pan a little way to the left, you'll see the inside rail there. And then the other side of that, you've got that strip of fresh ground on the chase course, which is being saved for Gold Cup Day tomorrow. Of course, Gold Cup traditionally now on the last day, the first steeplechase on the card, so the runners get the best of the ground right around the inside. Massive field for this one. When you get here as well, you get an idea of the real strength of the wind. It's much more significant just on the crest of the rise as they take the turn out of the straight than it is actually down by the last hurdle or the last fence. So from the starting point here, they'll run fairly steeply downhill to the first of their 12 flights, and the first of them now just beginning to rise. So if we pan the camera around to the left, we're about to see the starting team in action. You've got Simon McNeill in the foreground, Will Jordan, who's already checking the girds for Charlie Hammond with number 8 Aaron Ladd, Abolitionist, who's just arrived at the start. Abolitionist, of course, in the colours that were carried by the champion hurdler Comedy of Errors, almost 5 decades ago now. Bryony Frost just going through the shot on Olander Bloom, and the black sleeves of Mark Walsh aboard number 11. Not many left. Quite a few people's ideas of a lively one in this. Not many left, of course, qualified by winning his Pertemps race in a small field at Huntingdon at the end of January. Jesse Harrington was over that afternoon to see him in action. Just coming up behind the camber, we've got one of the fancied ones, Samburu Shujar, horse number 20, who's just pulling up here with Richard Johnson. It takes a step into handicap company, Samburu Shujar. One of the possible front runners in the race. He's been running handily in novice hurdles. There goes another of the McManus runners. And the last of them about to arrive at the start will be the top one, Walk to Freedom. Another Jesse Harrington trained runner. Robbie Powers got the ride. And the rest of the runners will be sent right back virtually to the landing side of what is ultimately the final flight. So they're now a good furlong and a half probably back from the tapes. As you'll see Simon McNeill give a once-over to Walk to Freedom. Final check on the girls, make sure that they're tight, everything is in order. Perhaps just tighten it up one notch. And Robbie Power, who went mighty close in the opening race in the saddle for Jesse Harrington here. So all is well, it would seem, with Walk to Freedom. And he's about to walk off and join the others. And if we just continue panning around steadily, and I move off towards my left, and James comes round to his right, in the distance, eventually you'll get a shot of Robbie Supple, the starter, on top of the rostrum, waiting for them. And once the clock ticks round, he'll be calling them forward as the starters, Seamus O'Neill, Simon McNeill and Will Jordan, head off in the direction of the runners and now begin to bring them forward. So we're not far from a start for the Pertemps.
We're not. Just time for Chris and Don to put a button on this. Themistocles, I thought, was another interesting one, Don.
Yeah, he ran well the last day. He finished second behind Caneo in that race that we just saw. He probably hit the front early enough that day, and he hasn't run since. I think he's up £8 for that. He meets Caneo on better terms.
And Chris, we haven't mentioned Samburu Shujar properly.
Yeah, recent form at Chepstow. Obviously, if he can reproduce that away from that track, then he would have a chance. I thought that the clock is ticking. If the ground wasn't too dead for him, would have a bit of a squeak. But top of the list for me was first assignment.
And unusual for JP McManus to only rely on 2 horses in this race. Perhaps that is a tip in itself for the hot favourite Sire de Berlais, bidding to give him a quick double. As Stuart was telling you down there, it's a pretty stately procession all the way round the bend to the start here, but the flag will be up very shortly. Indeed it is now for the 2019 running of the Pertemps final, and your commentator here is Ian Bartlett. Barty, good afternoon.
Thanks, Nick. Hi, everybody. 12 they'll have to jump then, every hurdle twice in 3 miles. £56,000 to the winner. Sire de Berlais, JP McManus, first colours the favourites. They're walking up towards the tape. They're off. Get away, and on the run to the first, the red and yellow jacket of Cool Cody wants to be up in front and is the first one to show. Orlando Bloom, Paddle Your Own Canoe, Flem Cara, and also with those Clunio and also Aaron Ladd in green and white colours. The clock is ticking in behind those as they get over flight number 1. Walk to Freedom is just about the back marker. Black Mischief is towards the back of the field as well. First assignments alongside Sire de Berlais in mid-division as they get over number 2. The lead continues with the red and yellow of Cool Cody. Abolitionist though, Sam Tristan Davis, orange jacket, green and white on the sleeves, goes through to just about the leader there. Orlando Bloom is up on the outside of those, and then the green and white jacket is Aaron Ladd, followed by the clock is ticking with Flem Cara in grey and maroon stripes and the beige of Paddle Your Own Canoe. Clunio's in company with those, then the white cap, green and yellow jacket of Sire de Berlais in mid-division as they approach number 4. Samburu Shuja in green and purple jacket, and then not many left in first assignment. The next couple of runners from Wait For Me. The next is on the outside, Colorado Aspen, followed by Champers on Ice. These then are being followed through 2 lengths further back by the green jacket of Eminent Poet as they swing left-handed now and about to run downhill for the first time. Must be a fairly decent gallop here. They're quite well strung out. Black Mischief is just about the back marker with Not What I Am, and also towards the back Culture to Sivola and To Be Fair and Walk to Freedom. With those as well is Themistocles. There'll be about 20-25 lengths first to last as Abolitionist leads them down on towards flight number 5 to Orlando Bloom in second position around the outside of Cool Cody in the red and yellow. Flem Cara in grey and maroon colours around the outside. In behind those was Aaron Ladd, green and white checks on the cap, and then the clock is ticking behind this. It comes through Cuneo around the outside of Samburu Shuja. Just in behind those, Sire de Berlais as they race down the home straight for the first time. Champers on Ice behind these from Wait For Me. Paddle Your Own Canoe in the beige up on the outside of those. Not many left is in the centre, pale jacket and black sleeves from Aspen, Colorado. Then Themistocles and Boyhood, a yellow jacket and green cap. Walk to Freedom, a yellow jacket and white cap. They're virtually together going the shorter way. To Be Fair in orange sleeves is next from Artois, Phil in company with Black Mischief as they jump number 6. And all over it okay. Walk to Freedom was a little bit untidy. Not What I Am is one from the rear of the field, and Culture to Sivola is 2 lengths behind those as they've now got to halfway in the final of the Pertemps Network Series, and it is Abolitionist leads on towards the far side of the course by about a half length or so to Flem Cara. Aidan Coleman in second place. Orlando Bloom is running in third. Cool Cody led early on, has dropped into 4th position at this stage from Aaron Ladd and Paddle Your Own Canoe, and the clock is ticking around the outside of Samburu Shuju, and not many left behind those from Sire de Berlais as they take this one. And all appear over it okay. Culture to Sivola beginning to struggle and losing touch with the others. As it's Abolitionist leads now at 5 from the finish and has moved on to a length and a half advantage. All got over to a few of them flattened it back in the field. Flem Cara is with the leader, and then Orlando Bloom and Aaron Ladd. And behind those, Paddle Your Own Canoe, and the clock is ticking as they now jump the 4th from the finished. Behind those is Samburu Shuja and Wait For Me and Sire de Berlais and Paddle Your Own Canoe Canoe around the outside and first assignment. Then comes Black Mischief, who's made a little progress from the back of the field. Not many left is in company with this, and then comes Themistocles with his white blaze on his face, beginning to make progress, but they race towards the top of the hill. Abolitionist continues to have the advantage, jumped that well, went on by a length and a half. Lemcara took it in second place, and then Aaron Ladd in the green and white that's been banged there the whole way through. The beige of Paddle Your Own Canoe around the outside. Orlando Bloom is next. Not many left is coming, and then comes Samburu Shuju. The clock is ticking, and Wait for Me, Atois Cuneo. Black Mischief behind those. Side of Berlais struggling a bit at this stage. Themistocles and To Be Fair are behind this as they begin the long run downhill now towards the second last. It's the old comedy of errors colours on Abolitionist, who has the advantage here. Just holding on to Flemcar in second, but there's a wall coming to challenge them. Paddle Your Own Canoe, Atois Eminent Poet, and also Not Many Left and Wait for Me. In behind those comes Samburu Shuja as they now take the second last. Aaron Ladd in the green and white colours. Charlie Hammond has just taken it up. Paddle Your Own Canoe in beige. The black sleeves, not many left. In behind those, Side of Berlais. Garrett is getting a tune out of him now. Wait for Me's behind this. Black Mischief is staying on. Then comes Cuneo, be nearest the grandstand side, is coming there very strongly. Atois fell behind this, and the clock is ticking. Still also running on Not What I Am. There's about 7 in line as they come to the last. Cuneo, Rachel Blackmore nearest the stands now, has come through with not many left. They go on to Side of Berlais with the white cap in second place. Then Atois fell, another white cap moving into third. Final flight coming up now. Not many left, was just the leader. Mark Walsh is over in front as he heads up the running. To Be Fair though, Tom Bellamy, the orange sleeves, the far side between the best. Side of Berlais, Barry Geraghty. Geraghty has lifted this home. Side of Berlais has just won to Be Fair. Behind those, not many left, and home in fourth position, Cuneo, then Atois fell, Themistocles, and that was followed in by The Clock is Ticking.
What a tremendous finish to the 2019 Pertemps final. It's Barry Geraghty again and again for JP McManus. Sire de Berlais has pulled it out of the fire. He had a wretched trip round the final circuit, hampered, buffeted, knocked about all over the shop down the inside. Somehow he has contrived to win this race, possibly because he had quite a bit in hand. The runner-up, To Be Fair, came to this race a year ago off a string of victories, and everybody hoped that he'd be able to produce a fairy tale result for Demi Hamer. Today everyone had forgotten about To Be Fair, and lo and behold, he's near as damn it won. Only the very well-backed Gordon Elliott trained Sire de Berlais in front of him. A terrific run from To Be Fair. Any number came with a chance between two out and the line. The one that caught your eye the way he was travelling was Not Many Left in the black sleeves and cap. He's finished third. Fourth was Cuneo, who's run a big race for Leopardstown winner, and Atois Phil has finished in fifth place. Don, wow, how did he do that?
Wow. That was some race, wasn't it, Nick? There was so much going on, but the favourite the whole way around. He missed one or two flights on the way around. Barry Garrett, he just didn't seem to be in the position that he wanted him to be in, and he let him coast down the hill first time. He missed another one down the back straight, and then suddenly there was crowding up at the top bend. He was probably on the inside. The ground is probably at its worst on the inside. The horse on the outside made the ground and turned it for home. He looked up against it. I'd say he was a bigger price turning for home than he was before the race started.
And time flies. It was 2 years ago that To Be Fair came into this race nearly as favourite off the back of that seven-timer, and he's run a remarkable race. But Demi Hamer's horse has gone down to a Gordon Elliott trainee, and the winning trainer is with Stewart.
Yeah, Gordon down in his usual position by the last flight to watch this one. It was close near the end. Did you feel Barry was always going to get there?
Going to the last, I thought we were beat, got underneath a little bit, but Barry gave him a great ride. He got stopped at the top of the hill a couple of times, and the plan was not to get there too soon, and Barry delivered brilliant.
Look, we knew he was a talented horse, and he ran really well at the festival last year. How confident were you today?
Listen, it's been the plan for a while, and it's glad it worked out. To have a winner for the McManus family, it's great, yeah.
And I guess you weren't too worried when it was raining earlier in the week.
No, delighted.
2 in 2 days now?
Yeah, 3 in 2 days.
3 in 2 days.
Yeah, no, listen, we had a slow start with 3 winners on the board now, we're delighted.
And how's Tiger Roll after his exercise?
He's at home and all there now, we're delighted with him, yeah.
Okay, well done.
Thanks.
Cheers, Gordon.
He's rolling, he's not done yet. 3 and counting for Gordon Elliott. And this horse, Sire de Berlais, has won a dramatic running. of the Pertemps, and we will take it from midway down the back. And at this stage you can just see the white cap. He's easy to spot in about 7th place on the inside, but he has horses coming back at him. He's on and off the bridle, he's getting knocked around, he can't get in position. Barry Geraghty's really had to work hard for this, Chris.
Yeah, he's done well to shuffle him around Cool Cody at that point, because that horse was starting to stop and he could have very easily have got caught behind him. Here's the bit where he really does meet that trouble. He gets caught on the heels of the over-travelling really weight for me. He's almost going too well for a race of this nature. He just overused himself a little bit, but he does look in trouble. We saw the replay of the last time outrun where he'd got qualified for this race, and he lost his position there before keeping on, and he's done the same once again, but he has responded willingly, and he's needed a little bit of luck in the end to come his way. But having said that, a few things went wrong, and he would have been unfortunate if he'd have got beaten, but he got the gaps at just about the right time, I suppose. Part of the reason that he was short of room at the point we picked it up was his inability to travel into the race as strongly as you might have liked, but now he's starting to look a threat.
To be fair, the orange sleeves and cap has been off the bridle for some considerable time already. Quite a remarkable run, but he's a very tough horse.
He is. He tough. Like, he stayed on really, really strongly up the hill. And by contrast, Cuneo and Rachel Blackmore, she does absolutely the right thing. She got the second last flight a wee bit wrong, but she's back in the bridle here. She's got over to the near side rail, and now she looks a likely winner. Bark Watch is getting stuck into not many left, just on her far side. And Barry Geraghty's been at Sire de Berlais from the top of the home straight, and he's starting to respond now. But it
missed the last.
He missed the last. It looks like not many left is going to go on and win it. Then, to be fair, is making ground in the centre of the track. Suddenly, Sire de Berlais picks up again. Like, it's a great ride by Barry Geraghty, and it's a really tough performance by the horse as well.
4th place was Cuneo, 5th was Atois Phil's run a good race, and 6th Themistocles, I think. Sire de Berlais it is that has won, 4-1 favourite. The winning time is 5:52.98 in what appeared, Chris, a pretty honestly run race.
Yeah, it looked like a strongly run contest in which stamina has come to the fore. Most of those that ended up coming through to mount a challenge at the finish were having nothing to do with the pace early doors, where most of them were coming from towards the back of the field, certainly no closer up than mid-division really. The winner got a ground-saving ride, didn't he, for much of it. A few things went wrong on the way around, but in the end the gaps did appear suitably for him to get out. He was short of room on the